Hey, how's everybody doing? So the solo that you just heard me play was a solo from an album called Ain't Finished Yet by Larry Howard. And Larry Howard is the last guy that I toured with. And unfortunately, Larry passed away about 7 years ago. And he was he introduced me to playing the blues. I'd known Larry since 1981. We met at a church, and we played in a band back then together. Larry was a guitar player in a band called Grinder Switch. I know I've put a video up about this earlier, but anyway, he we became really great friends. Him and his wife and me and my wife. We went out to eat together, did a lot of things together. Larry went out and had a solo career, did very well, gospel blues. And he came back into Lakeland around 2011. Yeah, around 2010, 2011. And then we put a band together. We were called Larry Howard and the Southern Rock of Ages Band. And we did some blues festivals. We didn't do nothing out of the country. Well, yes, we did. We played up in British Columbia. We did a blues festival in Chilliwack, which is around Vancouver. Played in Kansas. We did Daytona, Sturgis. Did a lot of biker events, blues stuff, blues festivals. But anyway, he had been working on this album for 20 years. And that solo that I just played is from that album. And it wasn't finished quite yet when he passed away. So it lay dormant for about 5 years after he passed away, and nothing was done. It was sent to Nashville, and they couldn't unlock the hard drive. So I contacted his two sons and said, "Look, we need to finish this project. This was your dad's last album, and I'd like to see it get done." So to make a long story short, I took the bull by the horns with their permission. You know, they had the rights to it. Larry's wife unfortunately passed away a year after he did, and so all the rights to his music went to his two sons. So they said, "Yeah, go for it." So I went to a studio, More Sound in Tampa, and then a friend of mine has a studio here in town, and I did some of the work there. Uh, so I did did the parts where Larry hadn't done, and luckily we had enough vocals on there to finish the project. But it was an honor to play on the album. I mean, me and Larry played a lot of, like I said, we did blues, but in the latter end, me and Larry, he didn't want to travel, so me and Larry did a lot of stuff as a duo, and we did prisons. We'd go into prisons and we'd do prison ministry there. And a lot of these songs on this album, Ain't Finished Yet, are are pretty much focused around that, his prison ministry. Um, there's a song called Angola Blues. Well, if you know anything about prisons, Angola is like one of the they hold some of the meanest guys in the country. Trust me, there's a lot of murders and just some really bad people there in Angola. But he's played Angola. Larry's played all over the place. We did some shows with Chuck Colson, who, if you know anything about prison ministry, Chuck was big into that. But Larry did hundreds of, if not thousands, of prisons all over the United States. He even went into Cuba and did some prisons down in Cuba. I unfortunately didn't get to do any of those, but maybe someday I will. But if you listen to the album, Ain't Finished Yet, I'm going to put a link where you can download the whole album for free. It's a free download. It's got some great musicians, and trust me, I'm not talking about me when I say great musicians. But Chuck Leavell is on the album, and Larry himself. Larry is such a... Do yourself a favor, if you download the album, listen to the lyrics. The lyrics are phenomenal. Larry was gifted. God gifted him with the way to put words together like nobody else would even think of using. So if you listen to the lyrics, they're very smartly put together, and they touch people's hearts. I've seen many people get saved in prisons, and at biker events all over the place. So, but when I say great musicians, I'm talking about Larry, Chuck Leavell, who played with the Allman Brothers in the early '70s. Then Chuck, in 1985, played with the Rolling Stones. I know you've heard of those guys, but he played with the Rolling Stones from 1985 all the way until, well, he still plays with them. If they do another tour, he'll be the piano player. But he's playing all the piano parts. Paul Hornsby's on the album. Paul Hornsby is known for his producing, but he played B3 organ on it. Some phenomenal playing on that. He's a great musician. He played with the Allman Brothers. He played with who else has he played with? Marshall Tucker. He's played with a lot of Southern rock people, but he's also produced and I think he produced a Leonard Skinner, a Marshall Tucker album. So who else on? Charlie Hayward, the bass player from Charlie Daniels, playing bass on it. Jack Gavin, who played with Charlie Daniels. Bonnie Bramlett is singing on it. And who else is on there? Gosh, can't even think of everybody that's on there. I should, but I can't. But anyway, so let me get back to this song. So somebody wanted me to put a video of me playing something from an album that I played on. So I chose the song He's Calling. And I chose the song because it's not necessarily a bunch of fast riffs or it's pretty tastefully done, I think. And I just tried to play with a lot of emotion when I played it, and I hope that when you listen to it you can hear that. I always try to play that way. I always try to channel, from my heart when I play, but and from the spirit for sure. So let me play along with this. I know I put the track up there, me playing it, but let me show you how and what I played. And I had some help on this. A friend of mine, Dave Torrey, when I recorded this and went to the studio in Morris Sound in Tampa, Florida, he was there, and I just couldn't even come up with an opening riff. I was like, what do I want to do as an opening riff? He says, look, man, this song requires nothing but simple. Just play simple. And he says, just play some two-note phrase to open it with. I said, okay. So I did this. Played those two notes, the root and the fifth to the root. This song's in G minor, by the way. And I played it, and him and the producer went, yes, that's it. So that's the first two notes of this solo. So let me play it here with the track. So what you're doing there is I use my second finger on the 15th fret of the B string. Then I play on the 15th fret of the high E string with my third finger. Now you might ask, why didn't I just put one finger and do that? Well, the purpose was so I could get some vibrato on that note. If I did it and did this, that note on that B string would have rang too. Would have sound, like almost like a double stop lick. So put some good vibrato on that note. By the way, I'm playing through the PRS amp, and that's pretty much I do have it set up with a little bit of delay because I never used the delay when I recorded this. I think I might have had a slight reverb on my amp. And I used this guitar with my pedal boards, and I had a little bit of reverb on the amp. And the producer wanted to put a little delay on this song. And I thought, well, I usually don't like delay on anything, and I think it's the only song where I used any delay because it was a kind of a slow ballad. It kind of fit the mode of the song. I thought, and he thought, and everybody thought it was sounded good. So that's the first two notes. So let me play it one more time. So then the next lick, I come up here to the 18th fret with my third finger. Do a bend and release and bend back up. Then I do a pull off from the 18th. This is on the high E string. Yeah, I do that. So I pull off. While I got it bent, I pull off when it's bent. Then I come up here. I pull off from the 18th to the first, down to the 15th fret where my first finger is. And then I immediately, after I've pulled off, come up to the 15th fret of the 18th fret of the B string with my third finger. So it's like. After I hit here on the 18th fret of the B string, I go back up to the 15th fret of the high E string with my first finger, and then do a whole step bend on the 18th fret of the B string with your third finger. So it's hard to do slow, that pull off when you have that note bent up on the 18th fret when you do the pull off. I can't even demonstrate it slow. Anyway, so that's the second lick. So let's move on here. So this looks. That starts with a bend with your third finger on the 13th fret. It's a bend, release, bend it back up. Let me back that up. I'll hear this exactly right. Yeah. So after you've done you come down here to the 11th fret of the B string, up to the 13th fret of the B string, third finger, back down to the 11th fret there on the B string, first finger. So you got. Then you come down here with your third finger on the 10th fret of the B string, do a half step bend, bend and release there. And the last time you hold it, then you pull off, and I'm doing that pull off while the note's bent. Again, hard to do slow. Same kind of phrasing that I did up here on this lick up here. That pull off comes while the note's bent. It's hard to do. You can't do it slow. It's almost impossible. So after I do the pull up, go to the 10th fret of the G string, back to the 8th fret of the, by the way, that pull off's from the 10th to the 8th fret. So after you come down here, you go to the 10th fret of the G string, 3rd finger, back to the 8th fret of the B string, then you slide up to the 12th fret with your 3rd finger from the 10th to the 12th fret, and put some good vibrato on that. Let me play that lick again. Yeah. Play it one more time with this. Trying to get the fingering right. You know what? I think I used my 2nd finger. I said first before. I'm going to change that. So instead of using your 1st finger there, use your 2nd finger. Then just take it down after you. Yeah, that's how I played it. Okay, so change that 1st finger to the 2nd finger there. Don't use the 1st finger, use the 2nd finger on that note on the 11th fret of the B string. And then the next riff is it's played like this. 1st finger on the 3rd fret of the B string to the 6th fret of the B string with your 4th finger. Then you do a whole step bend on the G string on the 5th fret with your 3rd finger. Let me play that. So that's tricky phrasing too. So after you've done the bend on the 5th fret there, I do the same thing. I do that pull off while it's bent. So it's so I'm pulling off, it's bent, pulled off down to the 3rd fret. Then you go to the 5th fret, that's 1st finger on the 3rd fret of the G string. Then you go to the 5th fret of the D string with your 3rd finger. It says so then after you've hit there on the 5th fret, you hammer on up to the 5th fret of the G string with your 3rd finger. Let me play that part again. Okay, so after you've done that, you do a pull off And I'm not hitting the strings with my pick again. I'm doing that with a pull off that part there. If I'd hit it with a pick, it would have sounded like that. So I'm just pulling it off with the strength of my fingers, pulling off from the 5th down to the 3rd fret of the G string, 3rd and 1st finger, 1st and 3rd finger, and then to the 5th fret of the D string with my 3rd finger, back up to the, and I'm so then, after I've done this, after you come back up here to this 3rd fret, you hammer that onto the 5th fret, then you do a bend, do a whole step bend and release. Then you do that pull off again without, you know, yeah, while it's bent, you pull off again, and you do this. Yeah. Pull off down to the 3rd fret from the 5th fret after you've done the full step bend, whole step bend, to the 5th fret of the D string, back to the 3rd fret of the G string, 1st finger, back to the 5th fret of the D string, 3rd finger. That's that whole part right there. It's tricky. I don't even know where I came up with these licks. So let me see. But that's it. So then I do this slide. It's like a double stop lick, sorta. So you slide on the G string with your 2nd finger from the 13th to the 15th fret. Then you hit on the 15th fret of the high E string with your 3rd finger. Then you slide both of those. Again, you hit the G string first. You slide from 15 to 17. Then you play on the 17th fret of the high E string. Then the last one you slide from the 17th to the 19th fret with your 2nd finger. Then you play on the 18th fret of the high E string with your 1st finger. So it's, let me play that. You could slide from, you don't have to slide from the 13th fret. You can just make sure you slide into that note after the 15th fret. So let me, there's only 2 more notes and we're done. Ah. 3 notes. So after you do this, Yeah, so you do this bend on the 20th fret with your third finger. You bend up a whole step. Then you hit it again. And then come back down here to the 18th fret of the high E string with your first finger. Bend's done with your third finger. So a little pause there. Let me play. Back this up one more time. Yeah, I had to listen to it again. So I do a bend and release there. So I go. Yeah, that's the last part. A bend and release there on the 20th fret. Then the last note's on the 18th fret of the high E string first finger. Let me try playing it one more time, the whole thing. Let me play it with the track or the recording. All right. By the way, go up and listen to that album. Again, I'm going to put a link to the whole album. This album was a work of over 20 years. Larry had been working on this for 20 years. Larry has a lot of other albums. There's another album up there. I think it's Sanctified Blues. Listen to that album. That's a good album as well. And he always had some really good players on his album. Again, I'm not trying to say I'm one of them. I was just blessed and honored to play with the quality of musicians that were on this album. I mean, Chuck Leavell, amazing piano player. Charlie Hayward, one of the most solid bass players you'd ever want to play with. And Jack Gavin lays it in the pocket. And Larry, man, Larry just writes such great stuff. Oh man, love him, and I miss him. So let me play this one more time with the track. There you have it. So I did a song. Somebody wanted me to put something up I played on. And by the way, I've had a pretty decent career. I've played with some pretty cool people in my career, and it's been a blessing. There's some people I played with I probably wasn't qualified to play with, and Larry was probably one of them. But thank God he let me play with him for as long as I did. And But I've had a great career. Don't tour anymore, don't want to. The music business is, I don't know, it's pretty messed up in my opinion, but I'm not going to go into that. That's another conversation that takes a while to talk about. But, these young artists, I kind of feel sorry for them because back in my day, the music scene was so much different. We didn't have all the competition of cell phones, all the distractions. People loved each other. But anyway, listen, I hope you like my channel. I hope you like what I'm doing. Maybe I'll do another song I recorded at some other time. But if you like my channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the little bell. And y'all have a blessed evening, and God bless you. And until then, be safe.